Hello everyone that are online, inline, analog and digital. Thank you for inviting me. It was most interesting yesterday to feel the vibrations of the Portal gallery, and the people who came, they really put their energy there, and I could feel the smiles and like positivity going around. So I think all the artists just succeeded in transforming these artistical energies to what is needed for people to experience, to lift up the vibrations. Yeah, in the gallery I presented two works. Usually I started New Media Arts, and I finished the Academy of New Media Arts in Zagreb, basically focusing on installations, but because I really like movement, and anything that moves, it gets my attention from the young age, and I was deeply involved in researching the kinetics in the form of vibrations, because every day I could feel music around, and when I heard John Cage's 433, it was something that was really connected with what I'm feeling, music all around every day. But as Labelle said, also one researcher of sound, he said music is everywhere, but not in the same time, because, you know, I can hear this differently than you, and this sound, it really depends on the space. So the installation that I presented in yesterday in Gallery Kortel, it was the research from a residency in Labin, which is famous for underground excavation of coal. It's a mining place, which gave me opportunity just to research the sound inside of these closed little spaces, and during my study I developed the methodology, mostly scientific methodology, which I can use to characterize each space with sound. But this sound is specific because I'm trying to describe it with a stationary wave composition. Stationary waves are phenomena that occurs in every space, and it depends on the material that is used in the space and on the dimensions. Stationary waves are basically long amplitudinal waves. This is low frequencies that we cannot hear often. They don't have possibility to develop, you know, enough, so they bounce from the walls, making a superposition. You know, because sinusoidal wave is like this, and when it bounces in a different direction, it's like different phase, and it does the shape of DNA, as we can say. So this gave me also the idea that I mean, I like to research something that is invisible, and that is connected to our material laws, you know, the gravities, the electromagnetic laws, that what we are experiencing here in this world, but what does have this phenomenon accent, because this is not a usual thing for people to perceive. You know, this is every day we are surrounded by this, but cannot perceive it. So I developed the underground vibration and dialogues of Labin. This is a video. Yes, the sound can be. Yes. See, it's a thread connected to the subwoofer speaker, and this speaker is emitting the sounds that I found inside of the lab in mining spaces. The sound of water drops are recorded with a normal microphone, but the vibrations that you cannot hear but you can see on the thread, these are calculated with formula for detecting stationary waves. So when I calculated it, I had 12 frequencies, 12 nodes, which then I used in composition. I related this, I used the I Ching methodology of composition, which was used also from John Cage's part of how he developed his compositions. And I created this one just to there are much levels in the work which I wanted to emphasize. One, it was how to show something that is invisible. How to show the characteristic of this space. The small spaces tend to have much more stationary waves because, it's natural for the sound to react like this. And the light which I used, it was mainly to configure the design of the lamp as it was Davy's lamp, which was used for detecting methane gas inside of the coal minefields. And in this sense, I wanted to connect these atmospherical conditions. Before we took lots of coal out, this methane gas was trapped underground. But now we have different atmospherical conditions, which I want to point out with these installations being brought out up on the surface, as in the gallery. So this I'm trying to question out. Do we now really have these atmospheric conditions that are relating to the underground ones? And how do we live now? Do we really live like miners underground, in the past? Do we need the light to show us the path? So in this installation I also use these flashlights who are lighting up the thread and showing the different compound of this thread, because it shows like there are multiple ones, but it's only one thread. It's like an optical illusion, and with this, I'm just trying to. I'm always trying to just to see what I wanted to say, because when I work, I mostly work with the impulse, not with the thought. I have maybe one concept, as in residency it was like, okay, we want to, for you to develop something around the theme of mining, you know, and I went with the impulse of, oh, I like to research this, correlation with the sound and movement and light, but in the end, it always reflected me what I wanted to say. I wanted to say something from the subconscious that I'm now trying to understand. So any kind of feedback from any person, it's like a treasure to me, because it opens up the perspective that I was not aware. And these questions and answers can help me to develop more. Not just with the artistic research, also with the psychological ones. Because every work tends to be the message from the artist to the public, but also back to the artist. So we have a possibility to grow up, and this is maybe important. Yeah, this was, what is this?
You sent me this.
I sent you this picture.
Just all of them.
Okay. There. According to my research with kinetics, like 10 years ago, I started the kinetic light painting photography exploration, because I used to dance contemporary dance, and I got injured, and somehow this kinetic light painting photography gave me this sense of dancing with lights, with the camera.
Nice.
Yeah, okay, this one picture that you can see now, it's not in exhibition, but it's also one in the series of, I like to call photokinetica, because I move the camera and light sources are still. It's mostly done in public spaces with public lights, but sometimes, because I get on some light festivals, I use those light installation to, yeah, to be like a color palette, and my movement is like a brush, like a paint brush. So it's more like like expressionism in my impression, impression of the expression. But in that sense, maybe you can move. Yeah, this one is captured on the Light Festival in Zagreb this year. It was the moment where there was some laser show, but suddenly there was also fireworks going on around, and I captured these fireworks with moving not just the camera but the zoom and the focus. So I got this depth and textures, and for me the sense that I get by looking at this, it was unistopia, something that reminds me on unifying this dystopian idea that, I don't know, it reminds me of Europe, this one, so I call it like this, like really flashy, but behind you really have lots of challenges. And if you unify, maybe it will work, maybe not. Yeah, no. Yeah, okay, sorry. I'm not sure why is this signed, but let's ignore this sign.
Yeah.
My name. I think I shared with someone. I didn't want them to do something with this. So yeah, it was also caught. I also caught this on the Light Festival, and for me it was interesting because I captured the light that was on the floor and like on some other part of my view. So I connected multiple perspectives where I stood, and if somebody did also kinetic light painting, you can understand that different technology of lighting, like public lights in Zagreb tend to have this golden stripes that are cut off. This is because of the frequency of the light. It is mostly done with kako se kaže živa, mercury lights, and also LED lights. There have different kind of flickering and frequency. So with lights you really can get the whole spectrum of textures and depth just by combining these different technologies. And it's interesting how in some cities that are more older, who have like maybe gas lamps, or when they have like open fire somewhere, and you have like modern LED lights out there, and combining all this together, it really gives you this moment of painting moment. Yeah, like you really have brushes, strokes, different kind of
textures.
Yeah, texture, different kind of colors that instantly you can combine, you know, just with one click. Yeah, maybe not one. I used to make like 20 pictures before I get something interested. But I think what I want to capture is something that is uncapturable. Yeah, like the time. I want in these pictures the time to go on, not to, like classical photography, you capture the time in the moment, and this is it, which is beautiful, I like it, but in this technique I want this time to continue, and this is the idea maybe. When I do this, I giggle a lot. With every picture I do. So it's some kind of a show, performance, and yeah, I enjoy it a lot. There is no deeper maybe concept except like reflecting my subconscious. And this is it.